Hello! Hello to everybody. Welcome to 2021 and welcome to all of the peaceful rebels. 2021 is the age of peaceful rebellion. And here we start. We're drawing a line in the sand and from here we do not budge. I'll see you in the next bit. So, 2021 has got off to a brilliant start. I think I have not felt as positive as I do feel now in quite a long time, since the beginning, really. You know, I've had good times, I've had bad times. We all have, haven't we? We've had the ups and downs. But I'm feeling extremely excited about where we are. And that's because of everything that I'm seeing. But also I get the sense that since we've moved into the age of Aquarius, which we have on the 21st of December, and since we've changed track, I can feel it. Okay, and don't underestimate the idea of, because I know that we changed track, I can feel it. Because remember, what every creation that appears starts as a thought. All right, so if we think that we've changed track, we've changed track. We are constantly creating new timelines with our thoughts. And this is ever so important. So I want to give you some thoughts, some things that you can begin to focus on. You know, a while ago, my sister sent through WhatsApp in the family WhatsApp group, she sent a little meme and it said, I've discovered the cure for COVID. Okay? And it was a person who had a television and a hammer and that smashed the television screen. That was the cure. Okay, and it was very funny. I thought I was tickled by that. And then I have a nephew who lives in China, who's married to a Chinese lady, and he sent a message and he said this, and it was so impactful, and it wasn't something I didn't know, but it just absolutely made it clear to me exactly where we are. And he said, right, well, a month ago, more or less, the Chinese government, the CCP, and we all know about them, they said on the TV that the COVID was over. It had ended. It was no more. And they said that from that point, no focus was going to be placed on the COVID. Okay? And so they didn't. Because you know that the CCP controls all TV channels. So from that moment, it was gone. It disappeared. And people started to relax and people started to go back to their normal way of life. And life now just goes on. Free of any of the virus. Now, what he said was, I realise now that it only ever existed because we were being told that it existed. There are no visual signs. There's nothing that I look out my window and I don't know that it's there. Okay, the only reason that I know is that when I go into town, there's a load of people who've got nappies on their face. Okay, that's how I know. So, what he said was that as soon as they stopped talking about it in the media, it disappeared. And there are some photos of Wuhan on New Year's Eve. Tons of people everywhere, hugging and shoulder to shoulder, millions of people. There's a lot of them there. And then New York, the Times Square in New York, empty, ghost town. All right. So, why? Because in China they said that it doesn't exist anymore. And in New York they say that it does exist. And that's it. So, reality is created through words, through intention. Yeah? So, that for me was brilliant to know that, to know what I've always known and what you all know is that if people turned off the TV, all problems would disappear. And I remember watching a couple, I think I mentioned this, I watched a couple a number of years ago who said all problems in the world would disappear if people all turned the TV off. Right? All problems would disappear. And I think the extension of that is any kind of social media. And at the time I thought, oh, that's a bit of a broad statement. No, I agree entirely. That all problems in this world are brought about by the media. And then obviously the tentacles that come out from behind it. So incredible, Incredible that they can just do that. So when, and it will come, when we finally get control of the media, when the media actually starts to do the job that it is intended to do, which is to help us, to inform us, all bad will disappear. All bad will disappear. Right? Bit of a wild statement, but that's the feeling that I get. Okay. Now, other things, really important things. This is another thing that's making me feel very positive. Okay, when I was talking with the guys upstairs, they were saying that the split is coming. The big split, right? That's what the words that they use. Now, I know we've heard about the earth split, or the earth, I think the earth split, that's what Dolores Cannon referred to it as, the earth split. And they said the big split's coming. And they said, don't worry about, at the moment, the other group affects us a lot. Like we're upset by what they do and what they say and everything. And they said, don't worry, that's going to get to a point where it's going to become, the split is going to become so wide that they won't affect you. And I suppose we won't affect them equally. Yeah. And so they were talking about this split, and they were showing me it like this like half and half. And what I've noticed is lately, that's what I'm seeing. I keep seeing these numbers coming out, 50-50, 50-50. And it's all numbers about the vaccine. And I'm calling it the vaccine so as not to call it with the V word. And then I can say it without having to stop all of the time. So, and this is ever so powerful. Now, we know that half of the population in most countries, and sometimes a little bit more, have said no to the vaccine, okay? But what's even more powerful and more important is that now and it was in Forbes yesterday, 50% of medical workers, hospital workers, frontline workers, 50% are saying no to the vaccine. 50%. Now, one could understand the population having doubts and saying, well, yeah, they have doubts because they're not educated, they don't understand. But hey, we are talking about doctors, nurses, frontline workers, people who care, who work in the medical field. 50% of them are saying no, refusing. This is not, no, I'll hang on a bit, refusing. Okay? And imagine the message that is giving to the population. Because clearly we look to doctors. You know, I personally don't, because I don't trust them as far as I could throw them. But the majority of people still believe doctors to be probably one of the most important voices in the world in terms of health. And when 50% of them are saying, no thanks, no, I'll pass on that one. That is such a powerful message for humankind. And so what I'm saying is this divide, half and half. Now, we've got a group in the middle, and this is something else that I'm hearing. We've got those who have woken up, those who are definitely asleep, and in coma, not asleep, in a coma, in a self-induced or an induced coma, not self-induced, although yes, they have to take responsibility for their own comatose state, but they have been induced into a coma through many years of preparation. And then we've got that floating group, the group that's trying to be on the fence. And they're the ones that we are going to get on our side, or they're going to choose to go on the other side. It's very difficult. When you're on the fence, it's very difficult to then go back, because you're on the fence because you've seen something that you don't like. And what you've done is you've seen one thing, but you're frightened to go any further. You're frightened to look. Your mind won't let you accept any further. And that leaves you in what's called cognitive dissonance. You're trying to believe two things at the same time. That causes mega stress. You cannot keep it up for a long time. And if you do, it creates mental instability, depression. Okay? Cognitive dissonance, fantastic. Loads of Jehovah's Witnesses have got it. Just talking about my background. Loads of Jehovah's Witnesses are what are called PMOs, which is physically in, mentally out. And they are having a terrible time, especially now that the energy is changing in the world, the truth's coming out. They are having a terrible time, and it's the same for everybody who's in a cult, right? And this is the cult of society. Society is a cult. Do not underestimate it. It is a religion. It is a cult. How do you know? Because they control people by making them use certain words. All cults have language that you have to use. Like saying a person of colour. That is a cult word. All right? That is a cult word. And along with all of the other cult following things, the religion of our society. Okay? And we've moved out of that. We've stepped out of that. And we can see it. We go, what? That's ridiculous. The people who are in the cult believe it and they love it. They embrace it. Those who are in the middle, like this, are in this dichotomy of, hang on, this shit stinks, but I'm frightened. I don't want to go with the mad people. Obviously, the mad people over here, that's us. They look a bit mad as well, okay? They're the ones who are going to have to make a decision, and it's coming up, and it's going to have to be quick. It's going to have to be a quick decision, okay? The door of the ark is closing. The rain's pouring, and the door of the ark is closing. So they have to make a decision quickly. Where will they decide? I don't know. But my gut feeling is that when you see that 50% of the frontline medical workers are saying no to the vaccine, probably we're going to get them over. I think the vaccine has really helped to draw a demarcation line between those who believe and those who don't. And it's interesting. It's been very good. It's been probably one of the best things that's come out. My heart goes out to those who've taken it. I feel deeply, deeply wounded inside about the people who have gone into that. And you know, the people that are dying. There are people that are dying. There are people that are suffering all kinds of terrible, terrible abreactions. Terrible ones, lifelong, and this is just the start. We don't even know long term what they are, but I mean, even some doctors have been telling their patients to freeze the sperm before they get the injection because it could leave you sterile. I mean, what is that? What is it? You know? So I feel heartily sorry for those people, but I can't do anything. I can't do anything. Every person that I talk to, I suggest that they don't do it. And I give them reasons why not. And that's the best that I can do. That's the best that we can do. At the end of the day, it's a personal decision. But those people who take it, and this is another message that I got from those upstairs, those who take it are effectively signing the contract to hand over their sovereignty and their soul. That's it. They're signing the contract. And from that, for the moment, there will be no redemption. There's no return journey. And the only time that they will be redeemed is after, when it's all done, and then the goodies come and help them to get out of that. But once they're in it, and they're trapped in it. Okay, and maybe, I don't know, maybe when they're in it, they don't even know that they're trapped, and you know, they live a life believing that they have all of the freedoms and everything, and they don't. Who knows? I don't know. But what I do know is that when you're on the other side, when you just choose to have sovereignty and protect your soul, then you do realize what they're living in. You know, it's easy for us to look at that and go, that isn't what I would want to do. They're in it and they're comfortable with it, and they're in the cult. And it's like when I was in the cult, I used to see a lot of people who were very comfortable with it. I never really was. I always felt agitated that there was something wrong, okay? But lots of other people were, really, really happy in the cult. And so let them do the thing, and unfortunately, we have family members who are in the cult. I have family members in the cult. I have family members who were telling me that I should have the app on my phone, the tracking app, and that I should get the vaccine and everything. And they're going to do it, and I'm hardly sorry for them. But in the scheme of things, in the long term, they'll be okay. In the long term, they'll be saved from that. But not yet, not now. Because we're in the split, we're in the divide. And so, again, what I'm starting to see is lots and lots of movement to create this new paradigm for ourselves, this new world, a new world of being separate. We'll live separately. I suppose it's just like anything. When you live outside of a culture, you don't enter into that culture. They have their parties, they have their celebrations, and you don't. Okay? And we're going to have our things, and they're going to have their things, and ne'er the twain shall meet. How it's going to work, I don't know, but this is what I see. And it seems to be like a halfy. Okay? Halfy split. And fine. Super. I know on what side my bread is buttered. And my bread is buttered not on the Maxine side, but on the freedom side, which is what everybody's shouting now. Everybody who's manifesting, who's going out to the streets and protesting, they're just shouting freedom, and that's what we want, and that is what we're going to have, and that is what's going to be the key word for everything that we do in the future. It's going to be freedom, autonomy. Okay, it's going to be community, and we're going to start to take care of ourselves in a community, and we're going to live by common law, and common law is going to be the way that we move forward. And with common law, there is never anything bad that can happen when people follow the golden rule, the common law. Nothing bad can happen. And is it going to be tough to get there? Of course, and it's going to be a bumpy road, and it won't always work out, and we'll still argue, and we'll still have differences of opinions. But the overarching goal is freedom. That's the overarching goal, and as long as we have that in our minds, that chunking up to what is it that we all want, is freedom and sovereignty. And so that's where we're going to move to. So the next couple of weeks, obviously there's a lot of things happening in the US at the moment, and look, whether you choose to get involved in that or not, these things that are happening are absolutely key to the future of mankind. They are key. Okay? And so watch with interest as things unfold, because the bottom line is that we know that there is a cabal that is trying to take over the world. And we also know that there is a good group, you want to call them the white hats, that are working to stop that from happening. And man, it has to be stopped. And so let's keep our fingers crossed that everything goes and works out for the good. And regardless, no matter what happens on the physical plane, in the spiritual plane, we have moved up a notch. We've changed track. We're in a different place. And so, no matter what happens, good will out. Good will out. The light has come on. The darkness is having to retreat. And so, all that we need to do to keep ourselves safe, this is the key, is to stay in the light. Now, not like in Poltergeist where they say, keep away from the light. No, go to the light. Stay in the light. Bathe yourselves in the light. Wash yourselves down in the light. What does that mean? What am I saying? Look, return to God. I mean, just in simple terms, return to God. Start praying. And if you don't like praying to God, pray to nature. If you don't like praying to nature, pray to the universe. Pray. Become spiritual. Start giving thanks for everything that you have. Giving thanks to the universe, to God, for what you have. The fact that you're sitting listening to me is proof enough that you have everything that you need right now. And give thanks for it. Start appreciating it, because by doing that, you start creating. When you give thanks for something, you create more of it. That's just the way science proves it. And they know it. They want you to be frightened. They want you to be scared. They want you to be worried about the future and creating horrible timelines. No. Thanks. Prayer. Isn't this life wonderful? Thank you for my beautiful family. Thank you for my beautiful life. Thank you for my beautiful body, for the health that I have. That's how you remain in the light. Okay? I'll leave that with you. Have a lovely week, and I'll see you on Friday.